What's happening, everybody? I hope you're holding on in there. This is some of the worst 24-hour change I've seen in quite some time. So I know that this is tough for a lot of people, especially you're looking at some of these coins. I mean, Ripple is at 26 cents. You're looking at Bitcoin Cash taking a huge beating. EOS, like all these coins are just taking a dump. Negative 20, some are negative 30%. It's not really like a laughing matter because this sucks, but as a trader, you need to understand what's happening. Where are we going? A lot of these TA guys were talking today. Bitcoin dominance is rising. Bitcoin's holding strong. All the altcoins are bleeding. But in reality, I kind of expected this to happen. And this is kind of why I'm making this video to kind of give you guys an idea of where we may be going. And kind of the good news is if you're investing money you can afford to lose, these are fantastic buying opportunities if you're buying the right projects, right? Like you can't just dump $100 into every coin and make a profit, because a lot of these coins are going to get flushed out and there's going to be a lot of switching hands and rank changes on this page. If I'm being completely honest, I think that a lot of these coins will be phased out in the next few years. And this bear market that we're in, contrary to popular belief, has actually lasted quite a bit longer than the most previous bear market in 2014 did. And so the fact that it's taken this long and the fact that things are getting shaken out the way they are, especially with Bitcoin taking a pretty steep dive in the last, half an hour. I mean, we were pretty steady most of the day, and then we're just dropping off big time. So we're at 59.32 with no signs of real drop. So what we're going to do is just kind of get into what this pattern is and what we're looking at back here. So this is a diagonal pattern, and we can go into here. This is what I'm calling the ending diagonal. And there's a couple really important Elliott wave kind of rules that you need to understand. With an ending diagonal, all of these waves need to be zigzag. So therefore they can't be impulse. There's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't work like that in this ending diagonal. With the leading diagonal, like we have here, it's very possible you can have impulsive waves in here, and that's completely fine. But in this ending diagonal, which generally signifies the end of a current trend, which is what I'm getting at here, is I think this bear market that we've been in for 150 days or whatever it is, it's probably quite a bit longer. It's actually been way longer than 150 days. I don't know what I was thinking. 250 days is probably what I meant. So yeah, 240 days and 20 hours. So we've been in this bearish trend for a long time. And that signifies to me is we're obviously the slopes of these wedge formations are becoming much less steep, right? Like the slope is far closer to horizontal than it was back in here. And that's kind of to be expected. And what that signifies to me is like, hey, you can't just look at the price action. You can't just look at, certain indicators, RSI, whatever, to signify like the overall trend of where the market is going. You need to do a little more digging. And this is what I'm kind of doing here is I'm seeing that this leading diagonal here, very steep. We had this nice corrective wave here coming back up to like the $12,000 mark. And then we just entered into another ending diagonal, in my opinion. And we're sort of ending that. We're approaching the end of wave 5, and we're kind of deciding where are we going to stop. And if you look back here, this is a bullish signal, these ending diagonal waves. So obviously here, I don't necessarily think you're just going to go straight off into the moon, but this is a good reversal pattern to be looking at. And so basically, like I was saying, is these ending diagonals need to have they can have up to a triple zigzag in each wave, which is fine. But that just means that they have to be ABC corrective type waves. And you can dig deeper and do the counts if you'd like. The ABC, the ABC, the ABC, or the ABC, if you want to just count them one big wave. That's up to you. Like, I'm going to leave that up to you guys. What I wanted to do is just give you some fib retracement stuff, some trend-based fib lines to kind of give you an idea of these these individual fractals here and give you an idea of what is actually happening, and then we'll dissect the one that we're on right now to give us an idea of where we might be going. So what I did here is I literally just did the trend-based Fibonacci extension. So that is in here, and that's this guy, and we're going to measure from the top to the bottom of the one, which is a little off, but that's okay. So what I'm looking for here is I'm going to draw this out a little further. And what I'm looking for is to see, where does this 3-wave dig into, right? Where we're measuring the length of the 1 back up to the 2, and where does this 2 to 3 wave dig into? And it's digging right into the 0.786, uses that as somewhat of support, bounces straight back through and goes right back up, right? So if we keep that on screen, and let's kind of move this way, and what we can do is we can try that again from the 2 down to the 3, up to the 4, and get an idea of where the 5 wave is digging into. And if you look, it is eerily similar. 0.786 on both ends. Do we get that piercing, those piercing candles just shoot right back up through? And there's a lot more analysis that you can be doing. You can be measuring exactly the distance of each wave. You can get the timeline between each wave. You can do 20 days, and then you can come back over here and get an idea of how many days this is happening. You can do a whole bunch of much more in-depth analysis. I don't have enough time on one video to do that. But what we'll do here is we'll do the same idea for this ending diagonal here. And we'll do the 2 to the 3, or I guess the 1 to the 2 here. And if you see that 3 is bouncing right off that 0.786. Beautifully. Right off that trend line. It's perfect. So what we'll do again is we'll do this 2 to the 3, up to the 4, and let's get an idea of where that 5 wave is going to end. And this isn't the only reason that I think it's going down to like 5,200-ish. But this is pretty eerily similar to what we've already seen, and previous results, that sometimes, not always, I hate to say that it always dictates the future, because it doesn't. But with any sort of financial markets, you are going to see some definite similarities and patterns. And the same goes for price action, right? Like, you can see where previous price action held a support. You might get resistance in the future, right? So there's just a lot of different things. And so what we're looking at here is it appears that we're touching this 0.618 line on this fib extension here, right? And what I'm expecting to happen is to hang out around this 5,800, and then probably kind of shoot down towards this 5,200 for an ultimate new low. And that would definitely break the market structure for sure, because that would be an ultimate new low. But a lot of times that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for the bottom like that, that will be a definitive bottom. And a lot of people will say, oh, if we go down to 5,200, we're immediately going down to 3K, or we're immediately going down to 4K, whatever it is. I'm kind of not of that opinion. I think that there's a lot of big players on the sidelines, and there's a lot of people kind of waiting for a really, really prime buying opportunity. And as you've seen in the past, you've seen these dips way down as low as we've gotten to 5,800 or whatever we've gotten wick to. You see these massive impulsive waves back up in almost every situation. And there's nothing that says that we won't stop right where we're at right now on this 0.618. This structure is one of the only structures in LA wave theory where this 5 wave can actually end kind of premeditated up here. Like, it can end here, it can undershoot, it can overshoot. I mean, it could go way down. It could go way down here. But this is one of the structures that it allows for it to end here. So it's not all bad news. If you're really scared that it's going to go to 52, it doesn't necessarily have to. This could be over after this one last pump, or one last dump, I should say. So that's kind of where I'm at right now looking at Bitcoin. I'm definitely in a no trade zone for the most part. This is, you know, we're playing out the end of this, and I'm going to be laddering in my way down. I'm going to be watching that 0.618 line very, very closely. I do want to see this. I want to see where we're at on this front. So it's possible we end at the 0, which would be right about 57. It's very possible we end there, 5,700, 5,800, somewhere in there. But yeah, I'm going to be watching this pretty closely, and I'll definitely have my buys laddered in down all the way down to 5,200, and kind of just, I'll keep you guys updated. This is kind of my outlook on where Bitcoin is going, and I think until Bitcoin gets down to these levels and stabilizes and finds a true bottom, and the volume starts to come back into the market, and more good news comes out of the market rather than all the FUD that we've been seeing. Bitcoin's over, it was a big scam, all this crap that we all constantly hear in these bear markets. Once we stabilize, you know, all of the altcoins will recover. Not all of them, but most of them. And I'm not really looking to do too much, you know, manual trading. I'm still using Profit Trailer, which we can get into in a second. There hasn't been much going on with PT. I've been using Defender. There's no better time than to use Defender because this has just been atrocious for trading. And what you can see I'm doing here is I have a couple bags that are pretty heavily negative. I mean, both of these bags are double-digit negative just today. So what I did was I started up Defender yesterday on these coins, and they're just waiting for buy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I wanted to make this very clear, is I am just sitting here with 88 and OMG, and they are, Defender has broken up the bag, so you can tell these bags are only worth $15 and $19 respectively. So that's totally fine. This is just, I have a pending order placed. I have 2 pending orders, 1 for each. And you can see the majority of the money is in the pending order. And the rest of it is just broken off, and it's waiting for a good buying opportunity. And so with my new settings, there hasn't been a decent buying opportunity yet, because there's just been too much change. Like obviously I'm seeing here this min-max change percentage. The coins are dumping too hard for my settings to want to buy them. And that is okay, because I'm not buying at a bad time and getting into another bag. This is the same bag. It's just split up. So no problem there. I'm just waiting. When the market does start to stabilize, I think we definitely, especially with Defender, you're going to start seeing these things pop, because when there is a good buying opportunity and the market stabilizes, what's going to happen is PT is going to look to buy my coins, and I'm going to end up hitting this target percentage of negative 0.5. And if the markets do return within the next week or so to more of a stable market where we're not dive bombing, but we're just kind of sitting there and certain coins are popping, and we're going to see some nice gains with Defender, I think. So I'm very excited to just be sitting here with no new buys, especially after what happened today. Like, I'm glad nothing bought. That means my settings are doing something right. And then when they do stabilize, I'm very excited to see what happens and how many rounds I can get through on a couple of these bags and start chipping my way out of whatever I just got myself into in this crypto market, right? Negative 20% for some of these coins. I mean, where's the ADA? I don't even know where it is. Did I miss it? There it is. Yeah, minus 20% today. OMG, minus almost 17. So it's been rough, but I'm excited to see what happens getting out of these bags over the next few days. So with that said, let me know what you guys think of this ending diagonal here, and kind of your thoughts on if this could be the case. This is where we're headed. You guys think we're going lower? You think we're going higher? You think it's over? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to get your thoughts, and also join that Discord, because we have a killer group of guys in there. We're always just chatting about all this stuff. We have all sorts of different theories going, circling around in there. So if you want your daily dose of crypto, head over into our Discord and we'll help you out with settings, etc. And then also with just daily market stuff. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy.